Hey, everybody, you are watching the Get Your Geek on Network, and we are proud to present to you the first full episode of our newest weekly show, Geek and Nerd. As always, we are your host, Chuck Kiwatz,
And I'm D.
and we are bringing you the latest and greatest in geek news, debates, reviews, and just whatever the hell we want to talk about. This is a free form show. We're really excited about it. For those of you that have seen the teaser that we put up doing trailer talk last week, we want to thank you for that. And yes, this is our newest weekly show. Of course, you got me and Danny bringing you some great stuff. And Danny, this is going to be your turn to host a show weekly. So I'm going to turn the reins over to you, my friend.
All right, so everybody, we're going to do this one a little bit different. We are going to get into comics soon. There aren't that many good new comics, so we may start off reviewing like some old runs that we like and bringing them into the current day. So if you guys have any suggestions you want to put up there and be like, hey, you guys read this one, and if there's something new that you think is fire, let us know. That's all good. I mean, definitely 80s, 90s run into the 2000s, back when things were awesome, is much greatly appreciated. So, yeah, well, I mean, but this is just one shot. We don't edit it because what's the time? I mean, I have the will nor the desire to do such things right now. So, yeah, we're just gonna flow with this.
The fuck
Say,
ups are part of it, man. The fuck ups are part of it.
yeah, oh yeah. That's a good part of it. The bloopers are in real time, and
Absolutely.
so when I don't remember somebody's name, which will happen several times an episode, I mean, y'all can call me out for that. But that's real simple. The guy on the stake, that was Jesus. Oh yeah, okay. I forgot about that. Okay. This is the life we
Absolutely.
live in. I own my truth.
It was a week of sequels for me, man. I feel like I went from Avatar 2 to Knives Out 2. But yeah, man, I got to tell you, one of the things I was excited to talk to you about was Bob's Burgers, man. You know, I've been talking off air about this. I finally started watching Bob's Burgers. I started with the movie, which Danny was like, bold move, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him. And then worked my way back, and I'm at like season 9 now. And Danny, I know you've been a fan of the show from day one. I mean, what is it about the show that brought you into it?
Louise.
Yeah. One word answer, folks. Real fucking simple with
Yeah,
that.
little bunny ears. That's my girl right there.
Dude, I got to tell you, that's who brought me in. So I saw a video on YouTube that was called Louise Being Chaotic Evil for 5 minutes. And the opening scene is her being like, he'll have a switchblade on his foot. He does, he will. And on the other foot, he'll have a lemon. Stab, 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 sting, sting, sting. What are you doing? I'm squeezing lemon into your wounds. Sweet baby blade foot. And it's that character is voiced by Kristen Shaw, who you and I had the same opinion. We were like, live action, she's not a great actress. Like, I don't really, she was good on 30 Rock, but
Mhm.
like, as a voice actor, she's fucking incredible.
Yeah. See, with like 30 Rock is all character actors. So that's pretty much what she does as a voice actor. She gets to be a character actor. So that's why 30 Rock is phenomenal for just I mean the who's the dude that does the commercial, the chaos commercials.
Chaos commercials?
Yeah. Like chaos like me.
I have no clue.
My man goes, I'm late for the game and I'm the mascot and I got spirit in my fingers and lead in my toes. And he goes and he crashes into stuff.
Oh yeah, I know you're talking. Oh yeah, Mayhem. You're talking
Yeah,
about Mayhem.
Mayhem. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's based on his 30 Rock character. That's all like that's all that is. Like Tina Fey did an excellent job with pulling people in. It's like I'm all in on 30 Rock, fantastic. Bob's Burgers is just every character has something about him to draw you in. Bob is just the glue that he's supposed to be the straight man. And very few people can do that properly. I mean, if anybody has ever seen, well, not even dodgeball. I guess if anybody has seen Bad Words, that is the greatest straight man comedy of all time.
I just rewatched that movie maybe 2 weeks ago, like for the first time in years since it came out. I
Fantastic.
how good that movie actually is.
Like that's straight man comedy, and that's what Bob is. He's a straight man. So he lets everybody else play their roles and he just kind of brings it together. and it works. Like everybody has a story arc, everybody gets time, everybody gets flushed out. So there are no big characters, nobody gets left behind.
It's funny that you were talking about 30 Rock. Like two quick things popped into my head. It's an Alec Baldwin line where they're like, children are angels. He's like, so was Lucifer. And then fucking the fact that Kenneth is immortal. Like that was a running thing throughout the show. Fucking love that, man. And then Tracy Morgan being like, when he's interviewing for Scientology, I believe there are 27 letters in the white alphabet. I believe vampires are the world's best golfers, but they're cursed to never be able to prove it.
I like Alec Baldwin always ragging on Tina Fey. And what did he say? What did he say about her shoes? He was like, something about her outfit. And he goes, I'm not a lesbian. It was like, I don't know. Those shoes were at least by Curious. just nonstop ragging on that woman.
Alec Baldwin's best role, in my opinion.
Yeah. I'm going to be your mentor.
Trump on SNL too, but the 30 Rock, man, he just had so many home runs. Like the episode where they go to her high school reunion and he pretends to be one of the guys that went to high school with him.
And he becomes the life of the party.
Oh my God, it's so good. And then every time he fucks with his assistant, Jonathan, like you can fire anybody. Tina, look, Jonathan, you're fired. Fucking mind.
I like the live show when they did it as he stopped drinking.
Yes.
And that's live. And then they went back, like they ended the live show, and then they went back to the recorded session, and he had a scotch in his hand.
Love it. I do. I mean, Tina Fey was such a brilliant writer. It's sad that show ended, but I mean, it had an 11-season run.
Yeah.
But Bob's Burgers, man, you got me into it. Louise is just pure chaotic evil in the best way. We both love H. John Benjamin's voice from Archer. That's where we knew him first, and then Bob's Burgers, of course. But yeah, Danny's been on the show since day one. I got into it because the movie. I'm now 9 seasons deep, and I love even the B characters. Sarah Silverman and her sister voicing Andy and Ollie, the Pesto twins. Fucking incredible. Just like, let's slam heads together so you can get my pink eye. Okay. Little things. Get my favorite moment of them as they're going on a field trip and Mr. Fraun puts up the list of people's buddies and they're not together and the blood curdling scream.
Yeah, they start freaking out.
It's so good. But yeah, Louise Belcher, one of my new favorite animated characters of all time. Danny has the magnet, but my favorite line, she just walks up to a woman, she's like, I smell fear on you. It's such a good show, man. But yeah, that Bob's Burgers was what I was watching this week, and then I got into Knives Out 2, aka The Glass Onion, and Avatar 2, The Way of Water. Avatar 2 we'll end up doing a full review of after Danny sees it, but I just wanted to get a quick note in there. We're filming this on Thursday night, so Glass Onion drops on Netflix tomorrow. Watch Glass Onion. Like I was working at the ArcLight Theater when Knives Out came out, and I probably sent 500 people into that movie that were buying tickets to like Star Wars or Cats or something. I was like, no, trust me, you got to go see Knives Out. And you and I are on the same level with the first one. Like it's an incredible murder mystery movie, like probably one of the best I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's based off of like Clue, and I like Clue back in the day. Like I watched that movie 100 times. Mr. Body, like this is the way it ended. Or maybe like this. This is the actual ending. Like this is fantastic. And they just brought that campy corniness into like a murder mystery with twists and bends and everything.
We compared it to Clue, and that's like how we'd always referred to the first one. And then it's hilarious because in the second one, Glass Onion, they actually talk about Clue. She's like, wow, so you're like the world's greatest detective. This is like Clue, huh? You must be incredible at that game. He's like, I absolutely suck at that game. I don't understand it. Like, it's just the running joke that like Benoit Blanc, the world's greatest detective. And Daniel Craig, man, I mean, very spoiler-free review. It's got Edward Norton, Catherine Hahn, Dave Bautista, Kate Hudson, Daniel Craig, obviously. And everybody hits out of the park again. It's a completely separate story from the first one. It's just another murder mystery with Benoit Blanc there to solve it. And it is just as good, if not better, than the first one. And I'm really excited to see this franchise develop because it's so unique. I mean, it's not based on any existing IPs. It's not a remake of something else. It's basically just the old-fashioned murder mystery put together in really well-done ways. And it's also one of those movies that if you watch the first one as well, when they give the reveal at the end, they cut back to the clips and you can actually see the
Mhm.
details of what they were talking about. And I love storytelling like that because it really is in plain sight. So if you're sly enough and following along, you can actually guess the killer. So I mean, where's that on your hype meter?
That's up there. I mean, like that's what Clue did at the end of the movie. So it's pretty much a revamp version of that
It's
because
absolutely
it
that. I was what Rian Johnson, the director, said. And what blows my mind is this is the dude that completely fucked up Star Wars. He made The Last Jedi, the worst one, where they killed Luke Skywalker and everything. And then they canceled his whole Star Wars trilogy because of that. And he went and made Knives Out and fucking crushed it.
yeah, well, that shows you what happens, what you can do when Kathleen Kennedy doesn't have her fingers in your soup.
That woman is the
So,
bane of my Star Wars existence.
but well, that's another topic. Is she's been in Hollywood for so long and has so much goodwill that they just couldn't like fire and kick her out. So they'll just move her to something else. I mean, she's known as a good person in Hollywood, and those are few and far between. When you
Well,
have
she's
people,
also the woman that got Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man 3 canceled because she was over at Sony at the time.
I mean, there is a good chance that would have sucked. All the Spider-Man 3 sucked.
Except for Far From Home.
Yeah, because that was more wasn't even that was part of the franchise, but it brought everything else in, so it was different. They needed that, like, and that's what DC's trying to go for with their we're gonna catch up to the MCU plan. So Marvel decided, hey,
Dude,
well,
we got to talk about it. Henry Cavill is officially out as Superman. Only
everybody's out.
after they announced his return because of Black Adam. James Gunn is said to be writing and directing the new Superman movie, which is the DC is going hardcore reboot, which I understand. The
Mm-hmm.
one continuity that I'm hearing that they're going to keep in is James Gunn's Suicide Squad because that has Peacemaker, and the Peacemaker show is still going to be going forward. So, in
I
some
would
sense,
cancel that too. I mean, Suicide Squad, both of them suck. The only thing
I,
they're keeping
I
is
like
Blue Beetle. They're gonna reshoot some of his scenes and bring it into continuity with the new MCU. But they're making Blue Beetle as a college graduate, which now is going to be weird because they're going to de-age Superman so much.
Yeah, Superman's said to be in about year 3 at the Daily Planet in the James Gunn reboot.
Yeah, so like well, I mean, DC has never had continuity. Like that's why I never got into the comics because I'm a child of the age of Zero Hour when they had 4 Batman titles, one in 1986, one in 2030, one in 1960, and the other one somewhere in the 40s, maybe 50s. I think the 90s. We'll just say the 70s because they have no idea what they were doing.
Zero Hour, you mean that series where my man's Hal Jordan just came in and wrecked shit?
Hey,
Fucking love Zero Hour.
they needed Zero Hour because their continuity was that jacked up and janky. And then they had to do it again a couple of years later. How do you trip and fall on a brick and then say, you know what? I'm gonna put a sign that says watch out for that brick. And then the next time you face plant on it instead.
One show that dropped today, I haven't gotten a chance to watch it yet. It's my binge for tomorrow, is the Jack Ryan series on Amazon Prime drops season 3.
Yeah, I'm waiting until the next season drops until I watch that one because I
This is the
went
final season.
no, I plowed through the first couple in no time, and then I had to wait a couple years for this one. I'm not making that mistake again. You're not getting me. You got me. You got me twice. You got me. You're not getting me again. Like Bush said, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, you're never gonna fool me again.
You'll never get fooled again. Oh man. So yeah, Avatar 2 is like, oh, and the whole world was like, oh my god, Avatar 2. They did a 2020 special, 2020 Dateline on Avatar 2. That
Yeah,
didn't
because
happen for
of the technology they used underwater. I think you have to see it in 3D because the
I
same way
heard
that Avatar 1 did it for like the cinematography was amazing. I guess Avatar 2 is the same thing that revolutionized a new style of cinematography.
I mean, and the story was better than Avatar one. I felt
Oh,
like,
thank you. Oh, thank you.
yeah, much better story. It's not Fern Gully. It's very much a family centric and environmentalist centric storyline. Like, but the most
Oh,
similar
Lord.
part, like I told you, very spoiler free. There's these whales in the same way in the first movie how they bond with their birds.
Hmm.
They have these whales called tulkun in the second one that the water tribes bond with. That's like their animal. And dude, the storyline with the whales, I didn't give a shit about any of the family storylines. Like there's family members dying from different clans, everything. I didn't give a damn about any of them. I was like, die, I don't care. You kill one of these whales, we're gonna have a fucking problem.
So that means every right winger is going to be upset about Avatar because it says don't cut down that tree or don't dump sewage into the water. Oh my goodness! Oh, look at this! This movie is, oh Lord. Okay.
Very, very minor spoiler. So in the first one, they were after that tree because it had that metal called unobtainium that they were after.
Yeah, that was slick.
They're not after that anymore. They're after the whales because the whale's brain fluid is this stuff called amarita, which completely stops the human aging process.
Oh, so
Completely.
so they're just doing like sperm whales. They
Yeah.
did.
Here's the fucked up part. Why do they need to stop human aging when they already have the backup? So again, very mild spoilers here. The
All right, this is the
colonel,
last one because people actually want to see the movie
yes.
and
So
not
the
have you tell
colonel
the movie.
Colonel Quaritch, the dude that dies in the first one, apparently they can just back up your conscience onto a flash drive and reboot you as a Navi. So why do you worry about the human aging process when you can just come back as a Navi on a flash drive?
Yeah, maybe you don't want to be like a big blue thing that puts your tail on plants or whatever they do.
Yeah, that's the other weird part, man. That's how they fuck, and then it's also how they ride all their animals, which adds a bestiality element to it.
Yeah, I mean, did you watch that? I mean, I seen what you wrote in here on.
Did you watch that? Your face was so genuine. Oh shit. Yeah, Avatar 2 definitely better than Avatar 1. I still think Knives Out though best sequel of the year, and that includes Black Panther 2. Knives Out is just so damn good.
I got to catch up on all my movies. So I got to catch up on Black Panther too.
That one almost got me to cry, man, with the opening scene because you knew they had to kill off Chadwick Boseman somehow.
Yeah, yeah. Hey man, he didn't tell nobody. I mean, it's struggle's real.
So
Telling
what
you.
is in the mind of Danny for discussion this week?
Let's see. Well, here's one. So I was on Thinking Critical on there. They do a live stream on Saturday mornings where they touch a bunch of topics. So they got into one discussion where a bunch of the new age writers are kind of doing self inserts as far as characters go, and they just kind of do like a left leaning storyline on everything. Everything's all woke this, woke that, and first of all, I didn't understand what that meant at first. Woke. I was like, well, what's wrong with
I
like?
just hear Robert in my head going, woke Marvel, woke Marvel.
I was like, what's the problem with understanding there are systemic issues with the country and coming to terms with that. And then I realized what it really was the same thing happened when they let black people vote. The Sudden Heritage Society, a bunch of racist Klan women down south said, let me see, and I quote, uh, if you let those okay, that's a vile word, so we'll just say n words. If you let them vote, why can't we? So yeah, that's how feminism started. So if you ever wonder about that, there's a little history lesson for you, little reality bitch slap. And so pretty much the same thing happened with wokeism. They're like, oh, black people are trying to do something, huh? Well, I guess we can hijack that joint and turn it into everyone needs to cater to everyone's feelings. So upon that, I said, well, what happened to stories like, what was it? God Loves, Man Kills. I mean, an X-Men title. If y'all haven't read it, please do. Phenomenal. And my suggestion for DC, where I talked to Chuck about this before, is the big bad being Darkest Night. It'll force you to pull all these characters in, and it is legit like a decade and a half, 20-year plan in order to do it.
You know how I feel about that, man. That's my all-time favorite comic book storyline. It's the biggest DC crossover they've ever made, 120 issues.
It's the last good big crossover that's been done.
And it was so world encompassing. Like for 8.5 months, if you read a Superman comic, you were reading how Superman was dealing with Blackest Night. If you read a fucking Aquaman comic, you were reading with how Aquaman was dealing with Blackest Night. It was set up in Green Lantern, but then just spread. The Teen Titans, they brought back 6 titles that they hadn't printed since the 60s with The Question, The Shadow, Secret Six, Suicide Squad, everybody. It was literally everybody. It's 120 issues, people. And that's what blows my mind, because the main series is only 8 issues. So there's people that have just read that and think that that's Blackest Night. It's like, nobody. There's 112 other issues that you're not reading here. Like, it is so world encompassing. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, it's the closest thing that DC can do to Endgame, because nothing else that they have will match what Endgame did.
And you know what they do? Just in how Infinity War, when he snapped and everyone died, they have that exact moment in Blackest Night. Necron snaps and kills the whole Justice League, and then rises them back up as Black Lanterns instantly. Like, that's how you end the part 1 of the movie right there, with them all coming back as Black Lanterns. And then that's why of course have to work together to stop them.
And then in the second one, you explain why they're Black Lanterns and that whole deal. So we're not gonna spoil the story, because y'all need to read it. Even if it's just the 8. Yeah, even if it's just the 8, y'all need to read it. It is incredible. And that's the best thing DC has. What are they gonna do? One of their crisis? I mean, all their crisis was just ways to fix horrible continuity and bad stories. That was their way of picking and choosing. Well, this story works, that one doesn't, this one does, that one doesn't. And they would just keep doing that. Like, DC is rebooting again. They just did, and they're doing it again. Like, that's insane.
And the thing with Blackest Night too was it was a year of buildup to it. They had the Sinestro Corps War, which introduced the Yellow Lanterns, and then throughout that, the Red Lanterns got introduced, and then they were hyping up Blackest Night is coming, Blackest Night is coming. And then for Free Comic Book Day, they did Blackest Night 0 that year, and that set up the other 7 Lantern Corps. And then it was a full year that was, because it went from Blackest Night into Brightest Day.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, they can do 10 years of buildup, and then another 5 to get to Blackest Night. So you can have an established, and then people here and there, and then after about a decade, then you start getting the build up to Blackest Night, and then you start introducing Blackest Night. And now that's like 20 years of movies you can do. Like, that's how to do it.
That is so brilliant, because that really is the best version of Endgame that you could get for DC. It's literally the whole DC universe coming together.
It is everywhere. I mean, they take, I'm not going to spoil it, but like, they take big characters that nobody cares about and turn, well, I said, I don't want to spoil it, dude. I mean, let the people read it. Man, you are horrible at this.
It's been out since 2007, people.
Hey, not everybody reads DC. Some people have common sense.
I won't say why, but just for example,
why not read DC? Because all the characters look the same and just in different bad costumes. They're bland as all get out. There's like 1 or 2 people that are good. The rest of them can suck. I'm not, as far as I'm concerned, and half of them do.
Imagine how it would look on screen when the deputy lanterns come in, like when Flash gets deputized and Wonder Woman gets deputized and Lex Luthor. Imagine like how crowd pleasing that moment would be.
You know, when everybody gets their rings and their costume changes, and like, and that would be a cutscene. Like, as soon as they get it, I'm not showing anything else for a while, because you're like, I want to see more. I want to see more. Like, now I'm showing you the next person.
So it's funny because it's the 20-year anniversary of Return of the King coming out this week. And you just talking about the cutscene reminds me of when we saw Hobbit Part 1. The post-credit scene was just Smaug's eye, and you called that. Like, I just want to see the eye. I just want to see the eye.
That's all I wanted the whole movie. It's like, I'm going to sit through this 2.5-3 hour movie just to see Smaug's eye. That's all I want. Just give me the eye, and I'm going to go home happy. and
And you got to
they just
clap
showed
when
it.
you talked about that. I got to walk out in shame because of Beautiful Creatures.
That was amazing. Hey, everybody knows that's your favorite trilogy. I mean, that's okay. We all have things we like. Well, that's for us sake.
Absolutely, man. And having met the author now
Mm,
and telling her about that
and she
moment,
liked that.
she did. She absolutely did. It's funny enough. I have her book right here. Wait for it. Beautiful Creatures.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. So yeah, man, big sequels this week, big comic books. We're definitely gonna end up doing a deep dive on Blackest Night because I
Yeah.
think that you're 100% right there. That is the answer for DC to do a world building story arc. Joker 2 started filming this week with
Yeah.
Harley Quinn as
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to that. Like I like Phoenix because he's different, and it seems like that's partially because of his brother's death and the way that all went down. That he's not like into Hollywood. He doesn't like he's a little aloof. Like the guy who played Ranger.
brother, big friends with Johnny Depp.
Yeah, he's it's like he's a different. They're both character actors. Just he takes a different way about it. Like Johnny Depp's been in some weird movies. But like, who's the guy that plays Ranger in Lord of the Rings?
Oh, Viggo Mortensen.
Yeah, like he's the same kind of guy. He's a little aloof. Like they're not deep into Hollywood like that. And Lady Gaga is a good actress, and I think she'll embody the more of Harley
The chaotic
Quinn.
spirit.
Yeah, I think she'll do more Harley Quinn as the psychiatrist than her as the psychotic. Like I want
Yeah.
to because I think she'll embody the psychiatrist, which is her base, and I would like to see that played up more to get more realism into the character. And then yeah,
Agreed.
she'll do crazy stuff and everything, but I need that base. Like she should never have lost that.
And we never got to see that with the Margot Robbie version of the character. I mean, we got a couple of flashbacks in the shitty Suicide Squad,
Yeah,
but I
and
mean,
and the flashbacks were horrible. Like she's just like sitting there and like, oh, I fell in love with you the first time. And like, no, that's not the way that would go down. And
exactly.
ew, I mean, really, if it did, then you are the worst. I mean, oh, who have you helped, and what did you make them do afterwards? Oh, she's like the Harvey Weinstein of psychiatrists. No, thank you. And I would not go near that plant because who knows what's in there.
What is going on with my phone here? This thing is dying like a mother.
You gotta plug it in charge and put it on a phone holder. You get
Yeah,
one of these.
I'm plugged in right now. I just don't know what's going on with it.
I love these nice metal phone holders. So when I have multiple screens, because I have ADHD and I need to play something, and if you take more than 2 seconds to do what you're doing, I start getting perturbed and really anxious. So if I got something else going on, I can calm myself and be at peace.
So as we start to wrap up here, Danny, is there any other subjects you wanted to touch on?
Let's see. We got the movies coming out. We have a younger version of Superman. I don't even like Superman, the character. I find him lazy. But Cavill was my favorite DC character. I mean, he was phenomenal. Sad to see him go. He'll be doing something else. I guess he's jumping in on Warhammer, so he'll be doing that. Maybe they'll bring him.
Yeah,
Maybe they'll bring him
like to
in
see
the
that.
MCU. I mean, he could be Captain Britain. See
I've
some of
heard
that.
Captain Britain. I've heard Wonder Man too.
Oh, I would. Yeah. Well, actually, he'll be better as Wonder Man. Dude, Wonder Man is underratedly powerful. He's pure ionic energy. I mean, like legit. Oh, did we freeze there? Did we look at you? I think we might have lost Chucky. We broke him. We broke him, folks. If he doesn't make it back, I would like to let everybody know that we have Geek and a Nerd. We're gonna let you guys decide every episode which one of us is the geek and which one of us is the nerd. And like I said before, you guys have any suggestions of topics that you would like? Yeah, we just lost him. He just dropped out. Now you get a full screen. So you get to see Baby Yoda, who kind of looks over me, and pretty much watches the computer when I'm not using it. And on the other side, we have Madden, because Madden, it's in the game. That's another thing when they start doing games. When we start rocking them things on here too. So everybody, thanks for watching the show. Geek and the Nerd will be back. Drop a like if you like it. If you don't like it, drop a dislike. I mean, what we gonna do? Can't please everybody all the time. We will try. We'll try to give you guys what you like. Oh, you back? I can't hear you, but you're back. Let me see if I can. I didn't even mute him, but that's awesome. I'll pretend I did that on purpose. Okay, now I can hear
Absolutely.
You. All right.
Yeah, I had my Bluetooth speaker on. I just had to disconnect that real quick.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah. So is anything you want to say to the peoples before we wrap this up? Oh, he's good. Man, listen. The struggle's real, folks. The struggle's real. I want everybody to realize that.
It very much is. Very excited, though. I mean, we got a lot of new stuff coming with the new year. Very excited about this show. I do want to wrap up a little bit, but what's going to be the first comic series?
First comic series. You know what? Let's do a couple episodes, and maybe the crowds.
What do you think it's for a comic series?
I say
you got to give the people two to choose from.
Well, okay, you pick one. I pick Gore the God Butcher storyline, and what do you pick?
I am gonna pick 0 Hour.
All right. So you guys, let us know which one's a geek, which one's a nerd, and what would you rather hear? We can review either 0 Hour or Gore the God Butcher storyline. Kind of liking that. Yep.
And for the Patreon, we're going to do an exclusive review of Astro Cold War. An Astro Cold War exclusive to the Patreon.
All right, I'm down for that. And also mobile games.
Want to get that?
So I play Marvel Snap, Marvel Strike Force, and DC Legends. So anybody out there who plays either one of those three, leave a comment. Let me know what you think of them. If you want to throw us what your screen name is on the games, I'll gladly hit you up, see how you're doing on there. We can do a little bit of roster reviews and all that nonsense.
Awesome. Definitely excited to get that going. We're going to be bringing in the sports side of things too. Don't want to talk about football this week because of how badly our Patriots blew that play against the Raiders.
Yeah, that makes me want to talk about it. Yeah, we may have to record a show before next week, because I do want to talk about that and a couple other things. That's all right. We still got the Celtics
and the Minnesota comeback.
Yeah, well, they shouldn't have been down by that much. That was just stupid. They're frauds. Minnesota's frauds.
The Mavericks has the two greatest chokes in NFL history.
By a team that should have never been up by that much. I mean, the Colts are horrible. The fact that you let them be up by that much shows you how bad they are. That's all it is. Minnesota, watch them get into the playoffs and get spanked. So that's going to be fun. Frank Reich deserved that record.
He absolutely does. I'm just excited to see what's going on with this new show. And the biggest thing that we want to put in the comments is every week decide who was the geek and who was the nerd.
Oh yeah, when you were off screen. Yeah, when you were off screen, I told them about that. So I let them every week. They're gonna be dropping it. We'll find out, and then we'll do like a running tally as the year goes on, and then we'll see at the end of 2023 who really was the geek and who really is the nerd.
That's gonna be fucking awesome, man. So you guys, before next week's show, make sure you watch Knives Out 2. Make sure you watch Avatar 2, because we will be going heavy on the spoilers. Make sure you check out the Patreon if you want that exclusive Snapchat core review.
Patreon memberships start as little as $1 a month. Our most expensive gold membership is only $15 a month, and you get great perks with that. We're really excited to have some great new stuff lined up for the new year. Want to make sure you guys have yourselves a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year. We will be back next week with all kinds of great new topics, and we will be talking either Gore the God Butcher or 0 Hour. He's going to pitch a Marvel every week. I'm going to pitch DC, and we're going to see where you guys decide to take us. So, Danny, would you like to take us out?
Yeah. So pretty much, I'm gonna let my man Grogu call us out. There it is. See y'all later.
All right, have a great one, guys. Don't forget to check us out. Get your Geek on Facebook. Get your Geek on Network on YouTube. Remember, guys, have a week and at all costs, stay away from Oprah.